Here is a sample utility plan for those of you who are doing the civil work in number 2, and utility plan is one of the added types of things that you do. So I'm going to just show you some things that belong on it. Here's your lot. I just made a rectangle. Of course, you'll use your existing lots that you drew in industry choice number 1. Put the name of the road out here. You don't necessarily need all of the information about the lot lines on the utility plan. If you've got them, that's fine. And it is good to put the little dots on it, but they're not really necessary. What's really important is that you're laying out where they're going to trench to put the utilities. And from the little video that I posted on the module, you can see that there's something called dry utilities, which are the things that are not wet, the gas, the data, the electrical, things that go in one trench, and there's usually one main trench, and I've chosen to put it in a spot that just seems to look like it would work, right? There's probably a big line out here or along here, and I don't know exactly where that is. In this case, it doesn't really matter. And you're going to show that it comes onto this property and comes over here, and you remember that the dry utilities are usually not underneath the road. So I've put them over where they're not underneath the road. And I could have just as easily come the other direction. I just chose to do it from over here. And then there's a right-of-way that I've had to put in because the people in this lot number 3 and lot number 2 need to be able to get to their property. So this is what's called an easement or a common area, depending on how the lot is subdivided and set up. And so I've put a 20-foot wide road, and I'm just showing it as an example. This would have a corner on it and things like that. But this is a planning layout. It's a utility layout. And I'm just showing that there's a road. I'm not even saying what it's like, if it's gravel or dirt or brick or asphalt or concrete. I haven't said anything about it. I've just said that it's 6 feet away and that it's 20 foot away over here and that it's 20 foot wide. That helps them understand that they're underneath it. There's going to be a trench for cold water and sanitary drain on the center line of the road. Okay, and then there's going to be a little box somewhere where there's a set of meters or a meter and a sanitary drain connection and a cold water connection. And so the public utility will probably put those in. Okay. It depends on how the planning is set up. If there's one box here for everybody that counts everything, or if there's a separate meter. This is showing that there's a separate meter for the cold water and a separate sanitary drain into a main line, and there's probably a big box out here where it goes into. So there's a cold water and sanitary drain connection on lot number 1 that goes to the sanitary drain and cold water trench. And there's also one here, and there's also one here. Here it is. Okay. And those are going to be at vastly different elevations than these, so it's okay if they cross. Doesn't matter. They're going to be at very different elevations, and that would happen on your trenching detail drawings, which we're not doing right now. There's a lot to do. We're just showing one typical type of drawing that lets people start laying things out and know where things are going to go. So dry utilities, that's going to be your gas and everything. And I just picked a line type that was separate, that was easy to tell that it's something different. I think that one is normally like fence or something like that, fence 1 or something. And this one, you can just look through the line types and find a line type to supply. Now, to get this all to look right, you may need to play with the line type scale. If you have questions about that, let me know. and I'll show you how to adjust the line type scale. But go ahead and get it in there. For the roadway, I've done something on the hatch. I used one called angle because it looks cool, and I put a transparency on it. You could do that with different line weights, and you can choose any kind of a hatch that you want for this roadway. Just something to make it obvious that that's a roadway. Sometimes people just shade it so that it's a solid hatch. Some people just use some light lines. There's no standard. It just has to show that it looks kind of nice, okay? And so there we go. That's how you start doing land planning drawings from the civil point of view. And this would let the civil engineer know to start calculating, okay? And I'll show you how they set up those calculations. Not that we're going to do them. That's a whole nother set of classes, well beyond what we would expect you to do in here. But I'm going to show you how to put a table in AutoCAD in another one that you can use, and we'll do it either from a spreadsheet or from the table. And you'll see how this information here starts informing the civil engineers on how to do their drawings. How much electricity is this lot going to use, and this lot, and this lot? And once you know that, you can start figuring out what size of conduit you have to put in, because you know what size wire you have to put in. Same with cold water. How much cold water is this lot going to use, is this lot going to use, and this lot going to use? So you can figure out how big the pipe for the cold water has to go, and so on and so forth. So there we go. There's an example of a civil utility drawing. The requirements are that you show a trench line. Does not have to be dimensioned or anything. You're just showing the position. You're showing the trench line for the dry utilities, a trench line for the wet utilities or the cold water and sanitary drain, and you show boxes where the connections will happen for each lot. There we go. That's how you do it.